In this video we're going to look at circles. So what we have in a circle, the distance around the outside is called the circumference. If we draw a line from the middle of the circle to the circumference, it's the radius. If we have a line that goes from one side of the circle to the other, it's called a chord. And if that chord passes the middle of the circle, it's the diameter. If we have a line that outside of the circle that touches the circle at just one point, it's called a tangent. And the key formula for any circle is that the area is pi times r squared, and it's important we do it as pi times r squared, and it's not pi times r squared. Okay, so just be careful with that. And the circumference is pi times d, or you could do 2 times pi times r because the diameter is 2 times r. Pi we know to be approximately 3.142, but we should use our calculator button to keep our answers exact. So example 18, find the area and perimeter of these circles. And whenever we think of perimeter, we're thinking of circumference. So area is pi times r squared, which is pi times 5 squared, which is pi times 25, which is 78.54 or 78.5 to 1 decimal place. And that's centimeters squared. The circumference is 2 times pi times r. So that's 2 times pi times 5, which is 10 times pi, which is 31.4 centimeters to 1 decimal place. Part B, to work out the area, what we've been given is the diameter is 17, so that means the radius is going to be 8.5. So area is pi times r squared, which is pi times 8.5 squared, or pi times 72.25, or 226.98. So that's 227.0 square meters to 1 decimal place. The circumference is pi times d, which is pi times 17, which is 53.4 meters to 1 decimal place. Example 19, find the area and the perimeter of these shapes. So what we've got is that this is a quarter of a circle. So then the area is going to be pi times r squared divided by 4, which is pi times 10 squared divided by 4, which is 100 times pi divided by 4, which works out to be 78.5 kilometers squared to 1 decimal place. The perimeter this time, so that's the distance around the outside, so we're going to have the base and the height and then the curve part. So that's going to be 10 plus 10 plus 2 times pi times r divided by 4, because the curved part of the circle is a quarter of the circumference. So the perimeter is going to be 20 plus 2 times pi times 10 divided by 4. So that's 20 plus 5 pi, which works out as 35.7 meters. So part B is similar to part A, only this time we've got 3/4 of the circle. So the area is going to be pi times r squared times 3/4, which is pi times 4 squared times 3/4, which is pi times 16 times 3/4, which is 37.7 squared centimeters to 1 decimal place. The perimeter, then we're going to have the 2 straight edges, the 4 and 4, and then the 3/4 of the circumference. So that's 4 plus 2 times pi times r times 3/4, which is 8, plus 2 times pi times 4 times 3/4, which is 8 plus 6 pi, or 26.8 centimetres to 1 decimal place. If we're given the area or circumference of a circle and asked to find the radius, we should first of all write down what we're given, so whether it's the area or the circumference, and use the formula for that. Then put in the relevant information and try and rearrange it to get the unknown. And quite often diagrams in these will help. So we have a circle with an area of 170. And we're trying to find the radius. So we've got area. So area is pi times r squared. Fill in the information. We've got 170 equals pi times r squared. If we divide through by pi, that will leave r squared on its own. So we'll have 54.1127 equals r squared. Then if we take the square root of both sides, we'll get r, which works out to be 7.36 centimetres to 2 decimal places. Example 21, a circle has a circumference of 19. Find the diameter, the radius, and then the area. So we've got our circle. We know the outside is 19 metres. And what we're looking for is the diameter, and as well we'll be also asked for the radius. So part A then, we know the circumference, and the formula for circumference is c equals pi times d. Putting in our information, we get 19 equals pi times d. So if we divide through by pi, we get 6.05 is equal to the diameter. Part B then, to work out the radius. Well, the radius is going to be the diameter divided by 2. So that's 6.05 divided by 2, which is 3.03 to 2 decimal places. Part C, we're asked for the area. Well, the area is pi times r squared, which is going to be pi times 3.03 squared, which is pi times 9.144, which works out to be 28.7 square metres.